Let's go into the next set of problems. We're going to learn the discriminant. If you notice here, this is what is known as the discriminant. This is the piece of the quadratic formula that's under the square root. So if we look at our equation, notice that our discriminant is located right there, which is the part that's under the square root. So that's going to give us some information when we're looking at problems. So first thing, there are three possibilities when we have a quadratic equation. So one possibility, and here's what a quadratic equation will always turn out to be: a parabola. It could be going up, it could be going down, and we'll get into that once we learn some of the graphing when that happens. But in this case, notice that the parabola never crosses the x-axis, therefore there are no solutions. So if you recall, one of the things that I've discussed in previous classes and videos when we started going over the quadratic equations is that the solution to the quadratic equation is where it crosses this x-axis. So notice it never crosses, so there's no solution. This one only touches one time, so there's only one solution. And this one crosses, so there are two solutions. So when there's none solution or no solution, the type of problems we're going to eventually get are what is known as imaginary numbers. Now, you're not going to learn imaginary numbers until Algebra 2. When there's one, then that means we have a repeated solution, and it's real. Real means it's not imaginary. So a real number could be 5, an integer, like an integer, or it could be 1/2, that's a real number, or it could be a decimal, 0.175892. Those are all real numbers. So it's a repeated solution because it only hits it once. And then in this case, we have two solutions, and these are two real numbers, because they cross the x-axis. So both of them cross the x-axis. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to find the discriminant and determine the number and the type. So here we have a problem. We want to figure out the discriminant. We're not doing the entire quadratic formula, just this part of the quadratic formula. So we know that A equals 2, B equals 5, and C equals -8. We're going to plug those in. So we have 5 squared minus 4 times 2 times -8. That is 25 plus, because the negative and the two negatives in there, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 8 is 64, and our answer is 89. Obviously, that's a positive number. We can see that if it's a positive number, it's going to have two real solutions. So the number of solutions are two solutions, and both are real numbers. And that's it. That's how you're answering those questions. Okay. Look at another one. Here we have A equals 2, B equals 5, C equals 4. We have our equation, B squared minus 4 times A times C. Oops. Sometimes my head jumps a little bit ahead. A times C, so then we have 25 minus 8 times 4, which is -7. Remember that the negative tells me that there is no solution. But what's really true is that the solutions are imaginary. And since you're not learning imaginary numbers yet, we indicate that as no solution. So both of them are imaginary numbers. And eventually, like I said, in Algebra 2, you will learn that. And that's it. That's the end of Module 4. I think it's 4. Module 6. So you should be able to do the problems now.